Oh, Janet Yellen flew straight to Beijing and shook hands with Premier Li Qiang to say that the two of them have the responsibility to manage their complex relationship and make it better. When Janet Yellen arrived, she got straight to the point, saying that America is not very pleased with China's overcapacity, that is, producing too many high-tech products, which drives down the prices of similar industrial goods from the US and other countries. She asked the Chinese government to ease up a bit on supporting their own high-tech industries. Li Qiang, for his part, held an 80-minute meeting with Janet Yellen. He responded to the situation by stating that actually, the two of us should be talking, negotiating, and respecting each other as equal partners, rather than maintaining a simple advisory relationship or as someone just giving advice. China emphasized that we should have a strong relationship and share many mutual interests. The fact that Janet Yellen, the US representative, had to fly across the globe all the way to China, right now it's because China's industries have developed so much. They've grown in high technology, making China no longer the same as before. Even though the Chinese stock market has been in a slump for 3 years, I have to say, it's a bear market that's more like a panda bear. With their high-tech glasses on, like I mentioned before, the Chinese stock market has been down for 3 straight years, and it's been pretty rough. Capital has been flowing out and people aren't investing, but the Chinese government has managed to let their currency weaken just a little bit, and they've kept it stable for a long time. This means that China is very likely using its foreign reserves to keep the currency steady. And here's the graph of China's foreign reserves. You can see how it dropped all the way down. See those bars that hit rock bottom? That's it. But after that, look at where it shoots up from. Where did that tall bar come from? That's right, it suddenly spiked. Bloomberg and the whole world were baffled by China's foreign reserves, mysteriously jumping up to 3 trillion. Of course, China's bear market has been really intense. Many got stuck at the top. But this Chinese bear isn't ordinary. It's a high-tech panda. Pandas just live uniquely like this. They focus on living life, not just on being alive. You can compare this to China's real estate sector back when it was booming. They tried every trick in the book, whether it was hyping up construction, boosting production, taking out loans, printing money, whatever it took to support real estate, right? They even sold pre-sale contracts before anything was even built. But in the end, if you ask, they focus on living life like that. So can it survive? Even if it generated double-digit GDP growth for China for years, when the time comes that it can't survive, it just can't. And the Chinese government didn't bail them out either. They just cut them off, no support at all. Take Evergrande, for example, a real estate company valued at $300 billion, the second largest real estate developer in China. When it was about to collapse, once it was clear that collapse was inevitable, everyone was watching to see what the Chinese government would do. Would they step in and bail them out? Would there be any policies to help? But China didn't bail them out. They made it clear. If you can't make it, go bankrupt. If you have any fines or penalties to pay, you have to pay them all. And for anyone who broke the law beyond civil and commercial cases, if you have criminal charges, well, you're on your own. Go ahead and face the consequences. And with Evergrande, not only did the Chinese government refuse to help, but their troubles became even more exposed. More issues came to light, like corruption. Evergrande was sued for overstating its profits by as much as $78 billion. This caused a lot of hardship for ordinary people. Take this lady in the red shirt, for example. She came out crying, saying that the money she had, she invested all her life savings in real estate, and now she wants it back because that was everything she had. For China to dare to cut off the real estate sector like this, it means they must have a really big backup plan. And it's this very plan that has made the United States unhappy. As you can see, America declared a trade war with China back in 2007 and 2018, and then things went quiet for a while. So why are they suddenly upset again now? It's because China is now focusing on producing high-tech industries. Let's take a look at how this is transforming the country. China used to be one of the poorest countries in the world, but it grew by manufacturing industrial goods. The saying goes, China doesn't pick jobs, so it doesn't stay poor. That's their motto, which means they'll make anything. Whatever people want, China can produce it, no matter how cheap it needs to be. China became the world's factory, producing low-cost goods and exporting them everywhere. But from now on, I'm not saying this sector will disappear, but it won't be the same anymore. That's because China is going to focus on producing very high-quality industrial goods with advanced technology, and they'll be able to compete head-to-head with the United States. Take BYD, for example. BYD is a Chinese EV company, and in the last quarter of 2023, they actually beat Tesla. BYD sold as many as 525,409 vehicles in the last quarter of 2023, while Tesla sold 484,507 vehicles, which is less, right? But there will definitely be people who say, hey, that's just the number for the last quarter. For the whole year, Tesla still sold 230,000 more cars than BYD. Yes, in 2023, Tesla sold 230,000 more cars than BYD, but in 2022, Tesla sold even more than BYD by cars. That's the gap. The numbers show that BYD is catching up to Tesla really closely now. Honestly, no one can really compete with China's EV car prices because their government gives them full support. Even Europe isn't really okay with it. Europe, in fact, they even sent official letters requesting an investigation into whether the subsidies the Chinese government gives to the EV industry are actually legal or not. Is anyone else wondering the same thing as me? Does legal here mean according to Chinese law or European law? If anyone knows, please comment below. Even Elon Musk, who swaps the title of the world's richest person with Bernard Arnault, doesn't dare compete with the price of Chinese EVs. He openly said that anyone who tries to go up against Chinese EV prices is going to see a bloodbath. At first, Elon Musk said he would develop an EV that cost less than $1 million, about 900,000 baht, but he canceled that plan and switched to making driverless taxis instead. He basically pivoted, deciding it was better not to compete with cheap EVs. The reason China can produce EVs on such a massive scale is because they've been preparing for this for a long time. China is an industrial country, right? So when it comes to factories, China has a huge number, enough capacity to manufacture EVs for the whole world. They've also been able to develop battery technology, right? That's why they're able to produce EVs in China. About 70% are made domestically. And even if they didn't rely on exports, just selling within their own country would be enough. There are over 1 billion people in China, so just the domestic consumption of EVs alone can turn China's EV industry into a massive powerhouse. If you've been to China in the past couple of years, especially in the big cities, you'll see this for yourself. You'll see that the streets in China are filled with EVs that not only look great, but are also very reasonably priced. Honestly, I think they look as good as, say, a Porsche. Personally, I think they're just as stylish. Take Xiaomi's latest release, the SU7, for example. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? It's really gorgeous. Oh my gosh, and the price in China is only about 1.1 million baht. But I should mention that this particular model has had a lot of reservation cancellations, mainly because people have to wait up to 6 or 7 months for delivery. That's why so many people dropped their reservations. But honestly, no one really knows yet whether the quality will be good or not. It got me thinking, what if from now on, the United States isn't the only country in the world anymore? That dominates the market, the industry, and all the high-tech stuff. It's not the only country in the world anymore. The companies with the highest value in the world, the high-tech giants like Microsoft and Google, Apple, Nvidia, if it's not just America that has them, if it's not just America with Silicon Valley, and in the future, China has its own too. So we have to start thinking, going forward, can the phrase made in China change people's mindsets, change how people feel about it, so that it becomes a mark of quality products and high technology? And stay tuned for more fun financial stories with Ride Diet Money Monster. Thank you so much to everyone who's followed along all the way to the end. Thank you. I'll find something to support as a send-off.